All praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Ha Rakah Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule Great Millstone well. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abba babal. Alright, so there's two headlines that I would like to read. And it's going to affect Babylonians, which are the so-called Americans. All right. It says Coloradans disappointed with end of emergency SNAP benefits. All right. And they're literally cutting people completely off. Okay. Because in Colorado, they also did a raise. All right. And it's still not sufficient because the increase of, the cost of things because of the devaluing of the dollar. All right. A lot of people are upset. Like right here, it says Danielle Dupree. It says they took me off because apparently $15 an hour as a single mom, which there's not supposed to be any single moms. If a woman leaves her husband, according to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Yahweh is the supreme God, which we have his word, the holy scriptures. Yahushai is the Messiah, which he is the word of Yahweh, made flesh and was sacrificed for the Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Now, the so-called white man, the red devil, all right, he has set the woman over the man, which these women don't think they need a man. I saw a video yesterday, and it had a woman that had 8 different baby daddies. And she said, they didn't leave me, I left them because she was pretty much saying she likes different men all the time. So these women that have been, under the so-called white man's privileges of getting, a better paying job, they get the child support, they get housing, they get food stamps, they get all this shit, including the protection, which they're able to call those murderers on 911. Right? The police, they're killers, they're murderers. They're in the murder business. So the women of this society thought they were protected, they were paid, they were fed, and they were able to get laid in the shade. But now, judgment is happening, all right? Which it's only going to get worse for these people. It says they took me off because apparently $15 an hour as a single mom is enough money on top of paying raised rent, raised utilities, raised in food costs, and the list goes on. I wasn't one who abused the system, which she did, because she took those kids from that man. The children belong to the men, including the women. All right, it tells you that if you get a wife, you get a possession. So she did abuse the system because she used the system to get away from either her husband or husbands and took the children in plan of getting child support. She got food stamps. She got rent, right? I'm sure she got all those different benefits being a woman in this wicked-ass society. And now the Lord is cutting those benefits off because it's judgment time, baby. It says, but others will struggle for sure as well. Look, the one underneath it says, JWC. I was taken off once as a single mom of 2 after I got a 5-cent raise, about $20 a month, which put me $3.47 over the income threshold. And I lost $500 of food stamps because they were giving these women $500, sometimes $1,000 in food stamps. All right? And look, the Ethel, it says, do you also get free medical? Which is, these women that are on these systems, benefits, they're the ones that in these hospitals getting that, that venom and putting it in those children because they're foolish. It says help with rent and utilities, just curious. And of course they did. Of course they did. Look at the red pill. It says, welcome to the real world. Don't have kids if you can't afford them. And really, we're supposed to have kids, but you're supposed to have a family unit. You're not supposed to just be a single mom. There's not supposed to be any single moms. That wasn't biblical. All right, and this is supposed to be a Christian nation, which your witch, your warlock that you call a president, puts his hand on the Bible and swears, right, to God to keep the laws of the Bible, but then they enforce laws to protect homosexuals. You see? And that's how these women are. They're very wicked. They act like they're innocent. Oh, I don't, they act like they're all docile. They don't do no wrong. And they're wicked as hell. They got all kinds of men coming in and out of that house. They're not good parents. There's studies that actually show the men that are in prison are mostly raised by women. All right? I even did a sit down. I came across a video of a woman complaining about the children that they raised. And it says in the scriptures that they would bring forth monsters. And they have done a great job of that. It says, don't have kids if you can't afford them. Why do you feel as if you should get a leg up? I only have as many kids as I can afford. And this is an Edomite, right? Because we know that, you really can't control those things because that's all according to the will of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. But what the women have done in this society is they have been put up over the man to think that they don't need a man. And that's because of the wicked, the so-called white man, has deceived them, just as he was the serpent in the garden and he deceived Eve to think that the grass was greener on the other side. It says in Isaiah 3, and 11, it says, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. All right, the wicked is the so-called white man, and wicked means destruction. It shall be ill with him, which eventually there's going to be sedition, and it tells you in 2 Esdras 15 that the Lord is going to give these people in power of these systems over to these people, and they're going to do what they want with them. All right, and then they're going to go into slavery under the Israelites. All right, and then the so-called white man will be made extinct. Isaiah 14:21. It says, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. As for my people, which he's talking about the Israelites, children are their oppressors, which the so-called white man is a base he's an idiot, That's why he recycles the water. The same water you flush down your toilet, he pumps right back into your drinking water. Because he's a fucking wicked-ass idiot. It says, and women rule over them. All right? And what he do? He put women over the men. And this is what has happened. You got women that are single moms, supposedly independent women, but they need all the benefits of the system, including protection from their killers, the police. All right? It says, O my people, they which led thee caused thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. All right? So the Lord's going to judge these people. All right? It says, moreover, verse 16, moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion, which he's talking about the nation of Israel, all right? It says, are haughty, meaning proud, all right? You got poor ass, proud people on this earth because the so-called white man has destroyed our people because of a lack of knowledge. And it says, and walk with a stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, meaning undisciplined. And that's a major problem with our people. They're undisciplined. All right? These women, they're able to sleep with all kinds of different men, have all kinds of different men's children, and then take their children and keep doing it. There's no discipline, not even for the children. You can't even discipline your children. All right? And even these men, when they go into the prisons, there's no correction. Right? They come out worse than they did. Because the wicked, the so-called white man, the red devil that rules the world, is controlling the system. It says, walking with menacing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord shall smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, which these women, they go bald now. Look at a lot of these women, they got to wear wigs, starting with the so-called black woman, which those are the Judites, all right? But They're being wicked in their ways, following the so-called white man, being bitches and devils and witches. And so the Lord has taken their beauty away. It says, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. And you got to remember, this affects the men too, because the women are supposed to be the glory of the man. It says, in that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round tires like the moon. So he's going to put these women to shame. He's going to destroy the men and put the women to shame. All right? And he's going to leave these women with no men to help them. You don't need a man? The Lord's going to take the men away. 2nd Esdras 16. All right? And let's see if it opens up. 2nd Esdras 16. I'm going to read 19, then I'm going to go down. It says, behold, famine, which there is already a famine, all right? But it's only going to get worse. And plague, there's plagues already. Tribulation, there's already tribulation, but it's only going to get worse. And anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment. So this is punishment. This is judgment on, starting with the Israelite. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. But then it's going to go to the other nations as well, because these other nations, the Lord is angry with them. All right? But he shows his judgment and statutes to Israel. All right? But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, which they're not going to repent. Like I heard a brother saying, I think it was New York, they had a 150 count egg, and it was fucking $80. And he says, you still got bitches on TikTok shaking that ass. Eggs are a motherfucking $80, and you still got these bitches shaking their ass. So eggs are about to become a delicacy. When really, that's a poor man's food. And it says, nor be always mindful of the scourges. All right? Why? Because they think they're still in good standing. They still think that something's going to get better. They always think, oh, it'll get better. Right? Why? Because they got foolish single mothers. These women that have children that are single mothers have single mothers. And those single women from a different era were able to succeed. But guess what the Lord has this devil doing now? I personally know someone in this situation, and their single mother is their money is going to get taken from the government. She had a job with the federal government, and you know what they just said? If they don't pass a bill to deal with the debt ceiling of America, they're going to start garnishing the wages of the federal employees. So guess what? All generations of these single women are doing bad. And it's only going to get worse for them. The Lord's going to break their necks. He's going to break their arms. He's going to break every finger in their hand. He's going to break their legs. He's going to break their bones. And then eventually he's going to crush their skulls. All right? And burn their bodies. The pressure is going to get so bad out here, especially on women, because men, we're a harder vessel. We're able to deal with pressure more. But these women are already snapping. I saw reports of women killing their babies and killing themselves because they can't take the pressure of being poor or having to move back in with their parents or being defeated, all right? And eventually they're going to sell their kids, sell their ass. I mean, look at Venezuela. Look at what's going on in all these war-ridden countries, and America is about to follow the same steps, all right? Women are going to become either sex slaves or they're going to be fucking food for these cannibals out here, all right? Because women are prey. This fucked up society make women think that they could fight a man. Or I can get in the cage and throw some hands. Fuck all that bullshit. All right? These women are fools. All right? When shit really hits the fan, they ain't going to be even able to fucking straighten their arm to pull a trigger. They're going to be shaking in their fucking knees all feeble. All right? If the men are going to be afraid, what are the women going to be? It says, behold, victuals, meaning food, shall be so good cheap upon earth that they should think themselves to be in good case. Oh, you could go to McDonald's and get fucking 20 fucking human chicken nuggets to feed you and your family for a fucking $1. So you think you're in good standing. But you're not really seeing the true picture when food, like eggs, real food, is a fucking $100. When really, eggs are cheap. They're supposed to be a cheap thing. And that's what happened in Egypt when there was a famine. They had cows, right? They had animals, and they sold them to the Pharaoh through Joseph for bread. When you understand that, bread is nothing but water and flour. The meat is more hearty than the bread, but that's how dumbed down these people are. They depend on the system so bad that they don't even know what true value is. That's why they say they don't need a man, when the man is more important than the woman. See, so these people are full of confusion. That's why this is Babylon. All right, this is Egypt. This is Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, it says that they think themselves to be in good case. And I guarantee you, these people are the same people that they were in good case because they were going to get a raise. Right? It says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Babylon. This is Babylon the Great. Babylon means confusion. These people are in a gross darkness, and they're about to get hit by a motherfucking train. You know what I mean? A locomotive. And it says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall be destroyed. The sword destroy. Because you're going to have hit squads. A good video I recommend you to watch is this here. From the Elder Brother on GMS Rock Solid Foundation. O my people, make you ready to thy battle. Which he's explaining that they got soldiers coming in. All right, you got all these so-called illegal immigrants that have been coming in for years, and really they're soldiers. And what they're going to be is they're going to be used on you you Babylonians, and they're going to put the hurt down on your ass. All right, and they're going to rape these women. And that's biblical. All right. In fact, let's grab that over here. Zechariah 14. I'm going to just start at 2. It says, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, meaning destroyed, and the women ravished. Why are the women going to be ravished? Because they don't have a man. And then on top of that, they're living wicked, whore-ass lives, and the Lord is going to fucking destroy them in a horrible way. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, which they're going to throw you, the ones that are alive, into fucking FEMA camps. And it says, and the residue of the people, so the remnant of Israel that do have faith in Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, shall not be cut off from the city. So this is the time that we're in, man. We're in the time of great judgment, all right? It says, where I live, I got a report, right, that the sheriffs, they shut down because we got like 3 feet of snow, all right? 2 to 3 feet of snow. And they said that they couldn't plow because they're underemployed, and they couldn't do it. And so we had to go like almost 3 days with no streets plowed or nothing, right? And they put out a report, and you see on the comment, I sent it to the brothers, but it was in the comments of that report that they wanted to purge, someone in there. And what was heavy was the name that was in there. I don't know the person personally, but I know someone personally under that name. And I thought it was that person. I said, what the fuck? Because my girl is the one that found it, and she showed it to me. Because the women that are connected to the men of the Lord, they have an idea of what's coming because of us. You see? So then the women that are with the men of the Lord, they're on another level than these average fucking women that are walking around in great confusion, don't know what the fuck's going on. But when I seen that, I said, damn, that's kind of like an omen, you know, which is like a prophetic thing, because he was saying, so what's up? Is it time to purge? You know, he said it in a different way, but that's pretty much what he said. And what was even heavier, nobody even corrected him out of the sheriff's department. They didn't say no, or you'll be charged with any crimes that you commit, because we're in that time where they even took away the rights of the police to put people in jail. Remember, some people, they could commit murder, they could kidnap, they could do all these crimes, and the police can't even prosecute them no more. All right? That's why these cops are getting shot, because they're killers, they're murderers. Really, I should say murderers, all right? Because they murder for the love of money. They murder in name of that badge, all right? And guess what? They're guilty before the eyes of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. They put innocent people behind bars. They destroy people's lives. So guess what? These women that thought they were protected by the police are going to need protection, because the judgment is on all these people, man. It says in verse 23, the dead shall be cast out as dung, which these bodies are going to be stacked up so high that they're going to fill the streets. It's going to be like, you know how these people that have fucking dogs, they walk around and let the dog shit all over the place, and you walk up and you see dog shit everywhere, right? The bodies are going to be like that. These people's bodies you're going to have more bodies of humans on the ground than even animals, you know, because these animals are going to be killed and ate, and then eventually these people's bodies are going to be ate that are left there rotting, because there's going to be a great famine, just like I read. All right, it says, and there shall be no man to comfort them. There shall be no man to comfort them. There shall be no man to comfort them. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Is that sinking into your thick skulls? There will be no men out here to comfort you. You don't need a man. You're an independent woman, right? Well, guess what? You're going to have to prove that to the Lord. It says, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down, because the cities are going to be destroyed in war. Look at Syria. Look at Ukraine. They're hitting these buildings with bombs, and what happens to the buildings? They're destroyed. The men get drafted to war. They get taken from their families and put in uniforms to go fight a war, and the women are left with their children doing what? Being raped. Being raped. Being raped. All right, I'm going to just jump down to verse 32. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, which there ain't going to be no gardening. There ain't going to be lawnmowers running. You're going to be hiding, trying to survive. And it says, so the fields are going to overgrow, okay? It says, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. Which is going to be like a fucking, you know, it's going to be worse than what they show you in these movies, the end of the world movies. But it's going to be like that with fucking cars, bodies in the streets. You know, you ain't going to be able to walk down the street to go to the grocery store. There ain't even going to be a fucking grocery store to go to. It says, the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. So these virgins out here, that they were deceived by these older women. Oh, you don't need a man, you need an education so you could go get a job. Well, guess what, bitch? Let that job save your ass. It says, the women shall mourn, having no husbands. I don't need a man. Oh, I had a man, but I wanted a different man. Good for you. You're going to have many men running in your house and raping you, and then eventually eating you. It says, their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. You see, there's not going to be no mercy shown to these women. None. The only mercy that's going to be shown to the women are the women that marry themselves to the men of the Lord. All right? And a woman that has a husband, all right, you're to remain faithful to that husband. Death do you part. All right? It tells you that in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. You can't leave your husband no matter what unless he dies. And if he wants to leave you because you're believing in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and he don't believe and he wants to leave, then you're free to let him leave. And the other way around, if a man has a wife that is an unbelieving woman, but she don't believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you don't have the right to abandon that woman. But if she wants to leave you, you're free from that bondage. All right? But if you remarry, you're to marry a man of the Lord. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 7. All right? I'm not going to read that because I'm trying to keep it short. All right? But that's the rules that the Lord has set forth. You're really, you're stuck to who you are married to. There's a movie called Monsters of Men. And it shows the U.S. government sending in hit squads of armies. All right? And they just say, kill everything. Which this is going to be a real thing. They got fucking robots that are going to be sent out into neighborhoods to fucking slaughter everything. All right? And it shows you that the women were in adultery. They had women that, I'm a doctor. I'm here to, put this needle in your fucking arm. And the Lord had the U.S. government, which is the sword. The so-called white man is the sword of the Lord. Right? And he's bringing that destruction on these people, just like it says in the Bible. And he said, kill everything. And you know what the first woman was to be killed? A so-called black woman. And she had her belly button hanging out. And you know what the robot did? He didn't even shoot her. He fucking crushed her skull with his foot. Because the Lord is angry with the American Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian that has not repented and that is in the love of Babylon. All right, the Lord's going to send a great judgment, especially on the women, because the women have been put over the men. So right now, they're ruling. You see? So the Lord's going to put them down in shame, man. Horrible, horrible things are about to happen to these women. It says, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. So the men are going to be drafted. Because, they got a bunch of fucking weaklings in these militaries now. They're going to draft the men. I just saw a draft in over there in Europe happening. And it was from 18 to 60 years old. All right? Well, if you look in the past world wars, they even took kids into war. All right? Because when men are dying, they don't care what they need. The elite, your so-called Illuminati, the ones that are ruling, they don't give a fuck about how old a kid is. They're going to put an 8-year-old out there. They don't care. They're going to put women out there to die. It says, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of fucking people, man. They're going to die from famine. And a lot of people are going to eat the other people. All right? It says, hear now and understand. It says, hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Which Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, I thank, because he allowed me to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right? And I understand these things. I could see them. This is why I'm reporting what I'm seeing in the news, man. It's right here in your eyes. They're cutting fucking food stamps. They're also cutting, I hope I didn't change it. Look, they're about to move the doomsday clock. It says, humanity faces true emergency for an apocalypse ahead of doomsday clock update. Why? Because the debt ceiling, all right? The debt ceiling has come and passed. All right? That was the other article I had, but I just lost it because it changes these dumb, platforms. They change as you, there it is. This is a different one, but this will do. It says the U.S. government has reached its debt limit, forcing the Treasury to take emergency action. And why do you think in the banks of Bank of America and Zelle, their money ain't there? This is part of that Treasury to take emergency action. They're eventually going to take all the money away and bring forth the MOTB, the implantable microchip, which take that, they're going to perish in the lake of fire. The nuclear destruction of America. And them that are drafted and sent to the Middle East to fight in the war, guess what? You're going to die over there by fire as well. The Lord is coming with so-called UFOs, and he's going to burn your ass up. That's why they're reporting such a high level of sightings of so-called UFOs. Those are the angels which follow the Lord. And the Lord's coming for judgment, man. He's going to burn your ass with fire. All right? This is all adding up to the apocalypse. What is the apocalypse? Revelation chapter 1. The revelation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. When you go into that, in the Greek, revelation is apocalypse. These are the signs of the times that we are in. These are the prophecies being fulfilled because we're about to witness the apocalypse of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the revealing of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And Yahweh Shai is coming to judge this world. All right? Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. So there's some women that are going to understand what's happening. And they're watching these videos. But, as you tarry, guess what? Man, it's up to the Lord, really. It's all in the Lord's hand. But I wouldn't tarry, But a lot of these women, they're so stiff-necked and hard-headed. They're waiting, thinking that they don't need a man. I haven't seen a woman that even knew the truth, and she said, "Oh, a single woman would be saved." Ain't no fucking single woman gonna be saved. All right? It says, "And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." All right? So right here, I'm going to get this translation so it's easier to understand. It says, "When that time comes, 7 women will grab hold of one man and say, we can feed and clothe ourselves, but please let us say you are our husband, so that we won't have to endure the shame of being unmarried." Let me get another version real quick, and then I'll wrap it up, all right? It says in the NLT, "In that day, so few men will be left that 7 women will fight for each man, saying, let us all marry you. We will provide our own food and clothing. Only let us take your name so we won't be mocked as old maids." And let me tell you, personally, being in this truth for, the few, I ain't been in it as long as the apostles, but I've been in it for a few years. And let me tell you, the Lord hardens your heart. And really, there's a hatred for you fucking women. All right? And I see it amongst all the brothers. Because you know what? You added to our problems. You added stress to our plates. So a lot of men, they're not going to want women like, that right now, you might go to the club in a mini skirt and men are all over you drooling and, "Oh, baby, come on, I'll take you home and take care of you." That shit ain't going to happen. In that day, the Lord is going to harden our hearts, and it ain't going to be easy like you think it is, where you just show your body and you think a man's going to want you. It's not going to be that easy, because the Lord is going to harden our hearts. It even tells you in Matthew 25, when these foolish virgins, which are men that are in the truth, but they don't take to the oil, all right, that even them, they're going to be fucking rejected. See? It says right here, verse 10, "And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage." And that's what this is. This is a marriage with the Israelites to Yahweh Shai, starting with the men. "And the door was shut. Afterward also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. So get the fuck away." See? That's what's about to happen. You women that have been deceived by the so-called white man to think your shit don't stink, and that you don't need a man, that you're better than a man, that you have more power than a man, all that shit is gone. That shit's out the window, man. It says in verse 2 of Isaiah 4, it says, "In that day shall the branch, the men of Yahweh, be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. So salvation is only for the Israelites and no other nation. But Israelites have been scattered amongst all the nations. It says, and it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, the men of the Lord, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. See? So there's judgment, all right? We're in a time of judgment. The prophets have came, and since Abba Bivens, and really even before that, it all started with Yahushua, which he sent out the apostles, and now we're actually branches of that vine. So now, guess what? It's judgment time. And it's judgment time. I'm going to repeat it one more time. It's judgment time. And that's why it's a beautiful title for this year, being what the Lord had Apostle Tahar, name it, the year that we hope that all these prophecies are fulfilled, from the MOTB to the apocalypse of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, B'Shem Ha Rakah Kadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abad babal.